Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this day. I've been waiting for this day for a couple of years now, actually. So I am over the moon excited, but I'm also very nervous because I just want to be good on YouTube. So my first video is going to be me introducing myself and who I am, and just a little bit of history on how I got started in the cake world. So I just really want you guys to get to know a little bit about me before I just jump into videos. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Lily, and a lot of you know me from Lily Loves Cakes, which is my Instagram. I'm 29 years old. I am Mexican. I'm married, and I have a 2-year-old. Well, she's about to be 2 in October, but a little bit about my family real quick, or not really quick, but I met my husband when we were in the 10th grade. He was my high school sweetheart, and then we broke up or whatever, and I moved to be with my dad for a little bit. But in 2013, he found me on Facebook, so his little thirsty ass hit me up, and now we're married, and we have a little daughter. We have our daughter together, and we just moved to Hawaii because he's in the Navy, and he actually just made chief, so it's been crazy. For you guys that don't know anything about the military, making chief is like a huge deal. So these last like week and a half, he's been working like 17-hour days, I think, so he comes home really late. But anyways, before we moved to Hawaii, we're from LA. We were dating from San Diego to LA for about a year. I found out that I was pregnant. So we had the talk, and I decided to stay home in LA while he got shipped off to Japan. So, because I was pregnant, I needed to be around my family. I was going to be alone over there in a new country, and he was going to be out to see a lot, so I would be alone. So I made the decision to stay, and plus that, I wasn't ready to give up my career as a cake decorator, because I knew if I were to go over there, I wouldn't be decorating cakes, which made me really sad to think. So I stayed here basically. So, but now we're after, let me see, 3.5, 4 years of long distance dating. Long distance from LA to San Diego, then from LA to Japan is really long. So after all that time, we finally get to be together as a family. We recently got married in January, but according to my mom, that wedding does not count. We're having our huge church wedding in December, so I don't know why my mom says the other one doesn't count, which is fine, whatever, that's her opinion. So yeah, but yeah, I'm married to him. Yeah, we just moved to Hawaii. I think we got here, if I'm correct, July 19th. It's been a crazy transition. I have never left California to move. I've never been away from my family, especially this far away. I was usually only an hour away from them. Now I move states. I'm all the way in the ocean. So it's been crazy. It's been hard. I really miss them. But I'm just happy that my daughter finally gets to be around her dad or whatever. So yeah, we got here, that's August, July. We've been here for 2 months now, and it's been crazy because we just got our house maybe 4 weeks ago. So we just moved in. We were living in a hotel for about a month. And then on top of dealing with moving in or whatever, he found out he made chief, so it's been even crazier. So, but it's really exciting for him because now he's chief. But he's been working like 17-hour days, so it's been pretty hard. But at least we're together. At least he gets to come home to his family, where he's been so used to living on his own or whatever. So yeah, so that's a little bit about my family. You guys all know my daughter Penelope, which is right next to me. She's actually watching Paw Patrol and playing with that cord. So yeah, you guys, a lot of you guys have seen her on my Instagram or whatever, and she's just, get used to seeing her around. She is here. I haven't put her in daycare yet, so there's pretty sure she's gonna like pop in 1 or 2 of my videos, just because she's crazy like that, and I'm a mom first, so I go off her schedule, not mine. So don't be surprised if she pops in to say hi, or right now when I'm making this intro video that she comes and tackles me. But luckily right now she's I put Paw Patrol on, which is her favorite show. So luckily right now she's quiet and distracted. So yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about myself and how I got started on cake decorating. So my senior year of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no dream to go to college, no dream to find a career, like nothing until my senior project was due. So our senior project you had to make it in order to graduate. So you had to write this huge like 7-page essay or something. I think it was 7 pages. I don't know. And then you had a project to go along with it. So I think I wrote my essay on eating disorders and how bad it is and how they're bad. So then I remember I was like, well, I'm going to make a cake and just show how you could still eat healthy but still eat cake, you know? So I think I made like a healthy cake or something. So I ended up making a 4-tier wedding cake. It was a 12, a 10, a 9, and a 6. So knowing nothing about cakes or nothing, I knew absolutely nothing about the cake world, nor that you could, like, nothing. So I did research online and I was all like, oh, there's a craft store that teaches classes. So Michael's, it's really popular in California. I don't know about any states, but yeah. So I went on their website and they taught classes. They taught 4 courses. So I was like, I'm going to take these classes because I don't know anything. Like, how am I just going to bust out this cake? So I took 4 classes. I think each class was like a month. So after that, I had to present my cake to my senior teachers because you had to present your paper and then you had to turn in your paper and then you had to present your project or whatever. So I made my wedding cake. I remember I made it and it was all buttercream. I didn't want to use fondant. Sorry, it was all buttercream and I had fresh flowers on it because it's really popular and it was just so simple and elegant. So I was like, it's gonna be easy. So I took my cake to present it and I remember just standing there. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to present my cake or whatever. And anyways, I actually made one of my teachers cry because I have never been into school. I have never been into my education. Funny fact about myself, I do not know how to spell. I suck at spelling. I'm not good at spelling. So anyways, I was never focused on my education until my senior year. Like, that project got my shit together, made me get my shit together. So anyways, I made my teacher tear up. She was my teacher in the 11th grade, and I remember her specifically saying, I wish you would have been this passionate when you were in my class. And I was just like, oh, like, wow, like, it's really, like, okay. So anyways, that's when I decided to pursue culinary school. One of my teachers, she was my favorite teacher of high school. Her name was Miss Berkeley. She was our Spanish teacher. Yes, I took Spanish because it's an easy A, whatever. So then, yeah, I took Spanish and, oh, yeah, I took Spanish. I already told you that. Anyways, my Spanish teacher was like, you really need to pursue this. And I was like, no, like, I'm not made for college. Like, I passed 10th grade history because my husband, that was my boyfriend in the 10th grade, and he let me copy his homework. Like, I just sucked at school. So I was like, no, I'm not going to get into college, like, let alone apply for one. So anyway, she pushed me to apply to culinary school. So I was just like, no, Miss Berkeley, like, I'm not gonna be able to do this or whatever. So anyway, she sat me down in class and made me apply to the school. So I went and sat. She made me sit down and apply to the school, and I did. And then I think, like, I didn't know back then, like, trade schools were, like, set on getting, like, students or whatever. So then, yeah, they contacted me right away, and they're like, come take a tour. And I was like, okay, I'll take a tour. You know, it's just to see. So then I told my mom. At this point, I had not told my parents yet that I wanted to pursue culinary school. So it was just, like, my mom had a little bit of an idea because, you know, she was the one dropping me off and taking me to my classes and, you know, paying for it or whatever. So then I told her about culinary school. She's like, okay, well, let's go check it out. So I was like, yay. So then we went and take the tour. I went to the Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena. So we went and take the tour. And after the tour, the guy was like, what do you think? And I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, like, this is what I really want to do. Like, my eyes just lit up. And then I turned to my mom and I was like, Mom, you know, I really want to do this. So the guy was like, okay, let's go into our office and talk or whatever. So then They're like, go home, think about it, and then when you come again, we'll talk about the payment or whatever. So then we set up a second appointment. I think at this point we had decided like that's what I'm gonna do, that's what I'm gonna go and whatever. So we told my dad, hey, come to this meeting with us. He had no idea what he was going for. So we sat down and the guy was all like, okay, like you're accepted, whatever, here's the payment. And it was $60,000, and I think it was $60,000. I think it was that much, and it was just for 7 months. So my dad just looks at me like, wait, what? Like, I don't think I had told him that I was interested in culinary school yet or whatever. It was all through my mom. So my dad was just like, wait, you're gonna go here and what? I'm paying? So, oh, my poor dad. So yeah, my dad just had this like, this was his face the whole time. My dad just makes that face like when he's like, it was just so funny because the guy was like, so how are we gonna do this? So then, yeah, my dad, thanks to my stepdad, he's my stepdad, he's been with my mom since I was 1.5 years, so that's my daddy. Even though, I mean, I still talk to my real dad or whatever, but my stepdad has definitely been the father figure of my life. So yeah, he didn't hesitate. He signed the papers, and thanks to my parents, you know, I'm really actually quite beyond grateful that they paid for my education for culinary school, and I owe it all to them for them getting me started, because I know not everyone has parents that are able to pay their college like that. So I'm so lucky that I have my parents and my dad just backing me up or whatever. So yeah, I went to culinary school. It was 7 months, and it was the best 7 months of my life. Le Cordon Bleu really made my passion grow. Even though I know you guys, a lot of you guys DM me asking me questions about culinary school and is it worth it and all of that stuff. I mean, for me, I enjoyed it. It was worth it, but it's not worth the money they charged and the how long it was. It was only 7 months. Like, for how much we were paying, we should have been there for like maybe a year or two. And you don't even get like I didn't even get a bachelor's. It was just a certificate. So it was just like, it could have been way more extended. But I absolutely loved it. And they're closed now, so I don't even know why they closed. I don't even know if my certificate is valid now that they're closed. I don't even know where it is. Yeah, I don't even know where it is. Anyway, so yeah. So I went there, and it was just, I loved it. It was amazing. So then after graduating culinary school, I got my first baking job. Not really baking job, but my mom's friend was the manager at Ralph's in Santa Clarita. So, I forgot, I moved out of my parents' house and moved to my aunt's house to go to culinary school. It was closer to Pasadena. So anyways, my mom's friend was a manager at Ralph's, the grocery store. So she got me a job there, and at first I was bagging groceries, but then I was like, I'm going to wiggle my way into the bakery. So little by little, I started wiggling myself into the bakery, and it was just really fun. Even though, like, their stuff isn't, like, made there, like, it's all sent there, and then you decorate it there. That's what I was doing, and I was just like, I love it. So then, from then on, I went to La Vallarta Supermarket. If you don't know what La Vallarta is, it's a Hispanic grocery store. And there, they made everything from scratch, from their pan dulce to their flan to their tres leches cake. Like, everything there was made, like, there. And it was a good way for me to learn. The only thing there was that the kitchen was ran by men. And in the Hispanic world, men are very, we run the show, you know, whatever. They don't, we do. So they were very mean to me. Not very, very mean. I mean, they were just men or whatever. So they would be like, okay, we're all going to go home and you're going to scrub the floor, when it wasn't even my job just because they were a man. So I was like, no, I'm not staying here. So one day I just didn't show up, and I remember they were blowing up my phone because they're like, we really need you, we're sorry. And I was like, nah, you guys gonna treat me bad? Especially if you're not happy somewhere, like, don't stay there, you know? So then, yeah, I quit the Vallarta, and I was just stuck in jobless. um, so yeah, so then my boyfriend at the time told me that Susie Cakes was hiring, and I was just like, no way. So then I looked up Susie Cakes, and I was just like, wow, I could really enjoy working here. I see myself here or whatever. And so yeah, so I went to their bakery. I loved what they like looked like or whatever. And I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna apply here. I don't remember if I sent in my resume or if I just walked in. I think I just walked in, and I had a portfolio with me. Like I was like, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna talk to them and see what's up. So yeah, I walked into Susie Cakes and I was like, are you guys hiring? And the girl went to like, let me go get our kitchen manager. Let me go see. So then yeah, the kitchen manager came out and was like, well, let me interview you now since you have like a portfolio or everything. And they were hiring at the time. So yeah, she interviewed me and she hired me on the spot. And I was like so excited because I was like, oh my God, a real bakery. Like this is it. Like this is my foot in the door. Like I'm really going to be cakes, and everything was made from scratch there, and it was just amazing. And I absolutely loved working at Susie Cakes. I loved it so much. And I remember I was just doing their basic cakes at first I was starting off cupcakes because they had cupcakes there, and then I slowly started getting the chance to do cakes. But then I really got into cake decorating. They hadn't given me a chance yet because, I'm new. They're not just going to throw me a crazy cake and say, like, here, do it. You have to show them that you're ready for it. So at the time, my niece was turning, I think, like 5 or 6 or 7 or anyways, and she wanted a Care Bear cake. And I was all like, hey, I'm going to pay for this, but can I decorate it myself because I really want to try? And they're like, yeah, do it, whatever. Well, I didn't really know, but that cake came out really nice. And she was like, oh my God, I didn't know that you were able to like do this. Like, we're going to move you on to cakes. And I was like, okay, yay. So then they gave me the chance to start decorating like detailed cakes there or whatever. So then that's how I started decorating detailed cakes. And luckily, they not only let me, they taught me. They like, okay, this is how you do this, and like they really showed you how to. And there, everything was drawn by hand. Like they had no fondant; it was all buttercream. So I think I was like always destined to just stay with buttercream. So they never did fondant. So they would draw like, I would have to draw Super Mario, or like we would do cutout cakes there. So like I had to cut a rubber ducky. I did Thomas the Train. So it was really fun. It was really. But my true thing was wedding cakes. I always had wedding cakes stuck in my head. But I loved doing these crazy cakes. So then during that time, I had moved out of my aunt's house. I was living in an apartment, and it got really slow at Susie Cakes because, bakeries have their like busy times and then their slow times. And I remember I had to make rent because I was on my own. So I got a part-time job as a paralegal assistant. So I was doing that while working at Susie Cakes, and then it got really hard, so I had to make the tough choice to find a full, and I think my hours got cut, like, really bad, because everyone's hours got cut. Like, we were going home, like, at noon, so, and I really wanted to stay there, but I had to make meets end or whatever, so, I started looking for another job, and then I found, Kiss My Bunt. That was just strictly bundt cakes, but it was, like, okay, it's cake or whatever, but, I remember, I think they got the idea. They're like, well, you don't have to quit if you need another job. Like, we'll let you work at another bakery. Just let us check out the bakery and make sure it's not, like, competition. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So then I was like, okay, I gotta stay at Susie Cake. So then I went looking on for another job, and then Kiss My Bunt found me. And then they were the ones that were, like, when I got interviewed, I got hired or whatever. But they were the ones that were, like, where the owner was like, I can't have you working at another bakery, competition or whatever. So you have to choose either Kiss My Bunt or Susie Cakes. And I was like, but it's not competition because it's bundt cakes and it's like crazy cakes. But anyways, she was promising me all this stuff. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll give Kiss My Bunt a try. So then I left Susie Cakes, and I was really sad or whatever. But yeah, so I started working at Kiss My Bunt. I met my best friend Megan there, which she hated me when she first met me. She said she took one look at me and was like, nah, I'ma fire this bee. And I was just like, why? I guess if you don't know me when you first meet me, I just I look mean, I guess. Um, yeah, I guess I look mean. I don't look very nice. so, so yeah, she took one good look at me and it was like, no, 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 no. But what do y'all know? She couldn't get rid of me. She absolutely fell in love with me, and she's still my best friend now. So, anyways, I met her there, and then I met my friend Audrey there, and it was fun working there. It was fun working there. It definitely had way more potential than when it got. But just, stuff goes wrong when you work at places. But yeah, long story short, I had a fun experience at Kiss My Bunt. It was nothing but bunt cakes. They were so yummy. But then I overheard Megan and the owner talking that Magnolia Bakery was opening up down the street. And I was like, no way. And I was like, who's Magnolia Bakery? Like, let me go look them up. So I looked them up and I was like, oh my God, like, I want to work here. Like, they have cakes. They have cakes and it just looks like so much fun. And they have such a large menu. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to apply. So then, yeah, I applied for Magnolia Bakery and I went in for my interview. I even got a parking ticket because I was like, I can't miss this thing, and there was no parking, and it was street cleaning, and I was like, I don't care, I'm just gonna take the ticket. So yeah, I took the ticket, and then I got a ticket. So then I went in for my interview, and then 3 days later, I remember I was working at Kiss My Bunt. My phone rang, and I was like, I think it's Magnolia. So I ran to the bathroom, and I was like, hello, and they're like, hi, is this Lily? And I was like, yes. And I was all like, they're like, hey, this is so-and-so. Like, we want to hire you. And I was all like, no way. And I was like, trying not to be loud because the owner was in the other room. And I was like, no way. Oh, my God. So then the owner left. And I went to Megan. I was like, Megan, they hired me at Magnolia Bakery. And Megan knew what my real passion was. So, like, she was all like, oh, my God. Like, go for it. Like, you can do it. Like, just do it. So then I put my 2 weeks notice in for, or like a month's notice in for Kiss My Butt. And I remember the owner took it personally that I was leaving. She didn't even say bye to me on my last day, which made me really sad. Not sad, but it was just like, wow, I spent the last 2 years working for you and you're not even going to say bye to me. Like, whatever. So anyways, I started working at Magnolia Bakery and just so many memories with Magnolia Bakery. So many just fun times, so many friends, and just how much my career took off with Magnolia Bakery. Like, I can't even, like, Magnolia Bakery has really been, like, I don't say my angel, but, like, it's just been amazing. I loved working there. Sorry, I have allergies and, like, my nose runs and stuff. Yeah, so then I started at Magnolia Bakery, and I was just like, oh my God, like, I get to be a cake decorator. And the cool thing, before they open the store, they train you for 2 to 3 weeks. It's nothing but training before they open the store. So they were really like, you guys are going to get trained. And it was a new location. They were coming from New York to LA. So it was a new location. They were really set on being trained right and getting their product good before we opened the doors. So then, so yeah, we trained for 2 weeks. I absolutely fell in love with it, and it was really easy for me because I had come from Susie Cakes, like a cake background. So it was easy, and when I first started there, they only had like 3 decorations. So it was really simple. They were very like, we're a bakery that grandma would put out stuff. Like, it was very, this bakery is like if your grandma would make a cake, like very simple. So then I started playing around, when it would be slow. I didn't want to go home, so I started playing with cakes, and I started playing more and more and more, and they started seeing, like, what I was able to do. So little by little, they started saying, okay, you could decorate these cakes and stuff, and, like, I just love how much they grew as a cake decorating company. Like, the decorations just got better and better and better. And they would not say no to customers when they would come in for pictures, and which was really good because, you don't want to turn down a customer. So it was really where I learned how to grow with buttercream. It's how I learned how to play with buttercream. It's how my buttercream love just grew and grew and grew because they were so, yeah, you should, they were so like, yeah, you could play around or whatever. So it was really fun. And then I remember talking to someone from corporate, and they were like, oh, so really, what is your, like, whole goal or whatever? And I was like, I really want to get into wedding cakes. And I remember her saying, you know, we're never gonna do wedding cakes because that's just not our brand or our style. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, it's fine, but I'm still happy here. But then they decided to finally get into that whole venturing of into wedding cakes. So I was like, oh my God, like I'm never gonna leave here. We do cakes, we do wedding cakes, like we do cookies and brownies. And what was really cool is I was able to like hop around from decorating to baking to prep or whatever, but I'll get into that. So anyways, they actually, since I had been starting them and playing around with stuff and like I was able to do that stuff, they flew me to New York to work on their wedding book. And that was just like, I was so excited. I had never been to New York, let alone been on a plane. So they're like, we're flying you to New York and you're going to do this for, like, you're going to help us with our wedding book or whatever. And I just remember being so happy, like, oh my God, like I'm going to New York and to work on a wedding cake thing. And it was just, oh, it was so amazing. I could not believe, like, me and one of my friends, Joelle, that also worked there, she got flown there, and then there was two other people that worked on it. But I just remember being so excited. So then from then on, we went into wedding cakes, and it was really exciting. And then they decided to open up bakeries overseas. And I was like, no way, like, how cool. Like, I would love to travel and teach stuff. And they're like, really? And I was like, yes, like, I would love it. I remember how that started. But basically, I got chose to be their part of their travel team to decorate their cake icers. So my first trip was to Kuwait, and that was so much fun. Like, that's when I realized I love teaching. Not only decorating, but I love teaching. And I just love teaching them how to decorate cakes and like how to perfect it. And it came so easy to me. So after their Kuwait store, I remember, I think it was after I came back. I was gone like a month. I came back, and then Magnolia started to think about doing decorating classes. And I was like, yes, like, this is like, I want to do it. Like, I have to do it. Like, I have to teach the classes. Like, oh my God. So yeah, they started teaching cupcake and decorating classes, and that's all. I did that on top of decorating normal cakes. So we would have cake classes at nighttime or whatever. So by this time, like, I was head icer, so it was so much fun. Like, I loved and I would post when I would be teaching classes, and they would sell out, which was really crazy. But we could only have like 9 people at a time because it was just me by myself, and we had to fit it within 2 hours. But I loved how I would post it on Instagram and how my cake classes would sell out or whatever. So that's where I realized, like, my passion for teaching grew even more, because people were like, oh my God, you're so good at this, like, you need to start a YouTube channel. And I was like, no way. So they started getting it into my head, like, start a YouTube channel. But I couldn't do it while I was working there. So yeah, I kept teaching. And then at some point, I don't know if, like, I get very, I don't want to say bored, but when I've been doing something for so long, I'm like, okay, let's mix it up a bit. So there was a point where I was like, okay, I've been caked out for a bit, like, let me learn something more. So then I remember they had opened their Chicago store, and they needed help with bakers out there to train them. And I was like, oh my God, I totally want to do that, but I haven't baked for Magnolia, like, baked. So then my best friend Marissa, she trained me for 2 weeks or like a week before I went to go train their Chicago team. So it was like, oh my God, I'm going to Chicago, like, for 2 weeks. Like, I was so excited. So then that's when I learned how to bake for Magnolia Bakery. So Marissa took me under her wing and taught me everything, and then I went and passed it on. So then I did the baking thing, and then I was doing the cake thing, and then they needed help in prep, which was like where we made our cookies and our banana pudding or whatever. So then I conquered the prep world. So I was like, I could do it all. Like, yes. So then because I knew all 3 things, I not only trained our cake icers, I trained our prep cooks, which was really fun. Not baking, because my best friend Marissa was the head baker, and she had her, like, stuff together. And for all you that don't know, she's my best friend, Marissa. And if you've probably seen her on my Instagrams, if not, I post her when we FaceTime, I post her on my stories, and she's my daughter's godmother. I met her there. She hated me when she first met me, also, but I remember telling her, I was like, "You're gonna be my best friend," and she's like, "Nah, you look like a girl that's gonna hurt me or whatever." And I was all like, "Nah, like you're gonna end up loving me, and like you're gonna be my best friend." And yeah, she's my best friend, and like I love telling people like in your face, don't judge me because the way I look. So, anyways, she was the head baker there, so like I didn't have to worry anything about baking. But when I would finish cakes and stuff, I would be like, "Hey, like we would be really crazy. Like I would have so many cakes at a time, and you know it takes time for cakes to bake and come out of the oven. So while I was waiting for that stuff, I would go or help Marissa or our bakers, like, oh, let me do your chocolate, let me make your chocolate cakes, let me make your red velvet cakes. Oh, and the reason why I don't go towards baking more is because of my allergies. I have really bad allergies, and the flour just it makes me have really bad sneezing, and then my nose will be runny, and then I'll just be in a crappy mood the whole day. So that's why I don't like to bake really. But I would love to help them, so I would suck it up and be like, "Oh, let me help you." And it would be fun because it kept things interesting. So that's what I loved about Magnolia. They just didn't make you stay in one spot. They let you learn the whole thing. So I was not only cake decorating, I was baking at times, and then I was I was prep cook. And then during the holidays, like it was so crazy during Thanksgiving. Like that was the main thing that sold was pies. So I was on pie duty, pie duty, pie duty. So it just grew so much fun. And then at Magnolia Bakery is when my Instagram started growing, and that's when it really took off, like with my videos and my pictures. And I'm just so thankful for Instagram and just all of you who follow me on Instagram. I absolutely love my Instagram. I take so much pride in posting pictures and stuff, and it's like my second child. Like if I don't have anything to post, I get sad. And since I stopped working at Magnolia Bakery, it's been really hard to post stuff because I no longer work there. So but anyway, so yeah, I've really been able to grow mostly at Magnolia Bakery. The opportunities I got there, the experience I got to experience with them. Like I flew to New York maybe 6 times. I went to Chicago. I went to Kuwait. They sent me to Mexico to train their Mexico team. And I just so grateful that Magnolia Bakery kind of fell into my lap when I was working and just starting off in my whole thing. And it was the most fun job. I actually brought Megan from Kiss My Bunt to Magnolia to be our manager, and then I also brought our friend Audrey as well. And then I just met my best friend Marissa, and then I met my other best friend Jennifer, which like we were such a close team, and it's really hard to go to work where you feel like you're at home. And that's where I felt with them. Like I loved it. I did not care that I did not care that we were so busy at times that I would work like 14-hour days during the holiday, and it was just so much fun. I was pregnant while working. I remember I worked until I was 2 weeks due. I worked until I was 2 weeks due. I was like with my big old belly there decorating cakes, teaching icing classes, and I did not want to go on maternity leave until like my husband was like, "You need to stop working like right now." And I was like, "No, leave me alone. Like don't tell me what to do." So yeah, I worked until I popped. When there was extra shifts, if like someone was sick and no one was able to cover it, and like I was gonna have to work 6 days, I was like, I don't care, like I'll take the shift. Like I want to work 6 days. Like I loved working there. And then when my husband was choosing orders, you get to choose orders like maybe like a year before you get sent there. So his choices were Hawaii, somewhere in Spain or something, and some other thing. So I was all like, if you can choose Hawaii, because Magnolia Bakery had a bakery opening up here, and I wanted to transfer, but sadly, like they closed. So I wasn't able to continue my Magnolia Bakery career. So So yeah, I had to sadly put my month's notice in, and it was just so sad because I was so happy there and my friends were there, and it was just time to leave because we had to move to Hawaii. So yeah, my husband got sent here to Hawaii, and the last 2 months I quit Magnolia in April, and since then I have not been decorating cakes. I mean, people ask me to decorate cakes at home, and I did it a little bit, but as far as I haven't decorated cakes, and I miss it so much. That's why I'm so excited about YouTube, because I not only get to decorate cakes, I get to teach you, I get to show you, I just get to basically take you guys under my wing when it comes to, let me show you how to decorate a cake, let me show you how to fix it, and like what to do, and just how much fun stuff you could do with buttercream. So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for my buttercream video, that's gonna be, I think, my third video. My second video is going to be all the equipment that I ordered, and my favorite equipment, my favorite food dyes, just all the equipment that I have and stuff. That's going to be my second video, and then my third video is going to be my buttercream video, because that's what we need to get started on all the other videos. So I hope you guys will stick around, and I hope this video wasn't just me rambling. Like, I really wanted you guys to get to know a little bit about my background, a little bit to know about me, and to warn you that my daughter is probably going to be running around in my videos, because, you know, she's not in daycare, and she's just my little mini-me, and luckily I could distract her with Paw Patrol. But yeah, so let's see how everything goes from here, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and a little bit about me, and I really hope to live up to my expectations, especially, and more so yours, because I really want to do good, and I really want to succeed in the YouTube world. Not because, oh my God, YouTube and you make money. I really love what I do, and what better way to show it than on YouTube. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and till next time, until my next video, and I love every single one of you guys that have subscribed, and thank you.